आवाज नीचे शुरू होने वाला है कुछ रख Good morning, Ashish. I think you are mute right now.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. Long time, yeah. I mean, I think I'm seeing you after maybe 7, 8 years or more, I guess.
Yeah. So Vishal, see, I can't see you. That's why I was like,
Oh, okay. This is this is Vishal.
Yeah, it has been 7 years.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it doesn't feel like that. It's gonna be midnight here soon.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be active.
I know it is quite late, and it is really great that you could join, even if it is so late. I think it is 11:30, 11:30, right, in the night.
It's gonna be 11.
11. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
No, it's great to see you. How's everybody?
Yeah, everyone is good. Everyone is good.
Great. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, Pratik, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Pratik, you can take over.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to everyone. I am Pratik Kumar Singh on behalf of Student Startups Club and SSIP Cell, PPSU University. Welcome all the keen participants and today's guest, Dr. Ashish Mundal, on behalf of Student Startup Success Stories, the talk series. In today's session, we will see an entrepreneurial journey of Hardy, the lessons which were learned along the way. It's my honor to introduce our guest today, Dr. Ashish Mundal. Dr. Ashish Mundal is a co-founder and chief executive officer of Hardy, situated in Cincinnati, United States. He is a scientist and entrepreneur by profession. He did his graduation and master's from CCS Haryana Agriculture University, PhD from University of Missouri, Columbia. He had experience such as senior researcher in Indian Institute of Soil and Water Conservation, a graduate research assistant at University of Missouri, Columbia, a contributor in Monsanto, product business development manager in University of Cincinnati Research Institute, co-founder Happify. And today, he will be sharing with us his expert opinion on entrepreneurship and startup. Before moving further, participants, please keep your mic off while presenting. Feel free to use the chat box for your questions, which we will answer in the end of the session. With that, I ask that you all give your full attention to Dr. Ashish Mundal, and let's welcome him wholeheartedly. Sir, please.
Thanks a lot, Pratik. Thanks for your great introduction. I didn't know that I've done so much, but thank you. Do we have any time limits, or am I audible? Everything is good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, everything is good.
Can I share?
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay, just let me know if there is any, Vishal, let me know, Pratik. Can you see my presentation?
I think it is coming up.
Okay.
Yes, is it visible?
Okay. So just let me know, Pratik or Vishal, if there is a problem, if I'm not too much talking, or if you want to have questions, of course, you can put it on the chat. And Pratik, I don't mind even if you want to interrupt me in between, because I wanted to have this session more as an interactive session rather than I'm just sitting here and talking. for 30, 40 minutes. So it's an honor for me actually to share the story that we have been through. One thing before we even start, I know most of you are interested in entrepreneurial journey. That's why you are here. And you might be wondering about the name Herbie. So in Indian perspective, Herbie doesn't resonate very well. But in United States, actually, in 1960s, late 1960s, there was a movie, Disney movie called Love Bug. And there was a car in that movie that was a magical car. And that car has magical powers. That's why it made the underdog, who was the hero of that movie, to win the race. And our company is helping older adults, the seniors. So they can very well relate to the name Herbie. As soon as we tell them, hey, Herbie, there's a smile on their face. Just to give you a background on Herbie. Prateek has already told you about my background, so I don't want to spend much time there. But one thing I wanted to share is in my personal journey in the last 20 years after my undergrad, what I have seen, a lot of people say is that you are an entrepreneur, you're a born entrepreneur. But if I can learn those skills, then anybody can. Because my father was a scientist, nobody in my family has done any business. But over the time, when I was doing my PhD at University of Missouri, I was fortunate enough that one of my studies got selected or got famous. It got published in a very reputed journal. It got picked up by Times Magazine, Discovery News. So Monsanto hired me for their project, Integrated Farming Services. And in 3 years, five scientists started that project. And in 3 years, it became a $1 billion company, the Climate Corporation. Some of you might have heard about it. And that's what got me to entrepreneurship. And that's where I wanted to learn more, how it's done. That in academics, it takes like 10, 20 years, but with a startup mindset, that same thing, similar concept can be achieved within 3 years. That's why I finished my entrepreneurial course from Harvard Business School. And after 2013, I had 3 startups, 3 successful ones. So one was the Climate Corporation that I was one part of. The Epify started in 2016. It was artificial intelligence and machine learning software, which got acquired in 2018. And in 2018, I started Hey Herbie. But I'm showing you a picture of iceberg here because you are seeing only 3 successful startups. But believe me, there are 30 failed ones behind this, under the water. There are hundreds of ideas that never started. There's so much perspiration, diligence. And that's where I always tell when somebody is saying, I wanted to go into startups because he got a big company. They made a big success. There is a lot of efforts that we need to put through. I remember so many VCs, venture capitalist meetings, where they straight on your face says, hey, this is not a good idea. This is a stupid idea. Why are you even doing it? But you have to collect yourself and go again. And I know in next 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, I don't want to take too much time. I want to keep it interactive so you can ask questions. And I would love that interaction. So I can even learn from the group. I want 3 takeaways from today's presentation. If most of you, I believe most of you have an idea in your head, wanted to be an entrepreneur, or wanted to go into startups, I hope that these 3 objectives that I'm going to tell you about, irrespective of your industry, irrespective of your ideas, irrespective of your market space, going to help you. And I'm going to use Hey Herbie as a case study to deliver how these 3 objectives help Hey Herbie to achieve what we have achieved in the last 3 years. So number 1 is choose your why. And like I said, there were 30 failed startups because there was not a motivation, a mission. Start with a motivation. because there are going to be so many hard times when you will think like, is solved. It could be your problem. It could be your customer's problem. It could be a gap in any workflow where you work in your industry. But start with a why. There has to be a problem. And I'm not saying that there are startups that doesn't work even without why. There are companies like TikTok, or I don't know, they might have a why, but not when they started, just sharing videos, right? The probability of success increases. And this is all about probability. How, with every step in your entrepreneurial journey, you have to increase the probability of your success. So come with a why, come with a problem. Next one is the customer for which you are solving this problem. He should become your best friend, or you should know that customer more than your best friend, so that you can empathize with your customer. That's how you're going to find a solution that is right for them. And then you don't have to sell your product to your customer. Rather, your customer will ask for your product. And that's a big difference when you start a product, because you just come up with an idea and we start it. But no, go through the customer journey, go through steps, and you can easily, the third objective is product market fit. Now you know your why, you know your mission, you understand your customer, what he needs, then you deliver the product. Now let's say you have done all of this, but this product still doesn't work. So you change, you pivot. You change either the product or features based on the market, or sometimes you can switch the market itself. I don't know if you know, most of you might know about YouTube, that YouTube was a dating website. That's how the founders started it. It was a dating website where they wanted the customers or people to create their dating profile by a video. But in first 3 months, they saw nobody was creating a video profile of theirs, but they were uploading cats videos or funny videos. So they pivot. Right away, they pivot. And now YouTube is one of the most or the biggest revenue generating company for Google. So always be ready to change according to product market fit. Now I'm going to walk you through how we adopted these practices in Herbie to reach our goals. Now, before I get into Herbie, you should know what is Hey Herbie. So Herbie is a simple technological solution. It's a hardware device that connects to any television. It doesn't need to be a smart television. It connects with any television. It comes with a remote that is built specifically for older adults. It has only 7 buttons. It has inbuilt microphone and remote. Speakers. It connects with Bluetooth. With one click, it can switch between the cable TV that they're watching to Herbie TV. They get their medication reminders. They get their event reminders. Or with one click, they can connect to any of the family members. Whereas for family members who are the younger kids or even grandkids, they have our app for their phone. Now, you will see in the next few slides why we chose TV, why we didn't give them a touchscreen phone like FaceTime and all these things. Because older adults, it is a behavioral change for them. And that's our value proposition for older adults who are older than 80 years. As I said, 3 takeaways from today's presentation. The first one is why. And our why, Hey Herbie's why, is loneliness. I know in India, we have a huge population, so it doesn't feel like lonely most of the times. But in America, it's a big problem, especially for older adults. If you are living lonely for a certain time period, it has similar health impacts as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. You heard me right. 15 cigarettes a day has equivalent health impact, bad health impact, as staying lonely. Now, Medicare is one of the medical plans in the United States that help older adults pay their medical bills. So Medicare care alone pays $7 billion more for lonelier older adults. And this number is going to increase. By 2035, first time in the history of the United States, people older than 65 going to outnumber the teenagers. That means it is a huge market. It has a huge economical impact, and this market is increasing. But on top of that, we are solving a real problem. Now, when you have to go to VCs, venture capitalists, to raise the money, they look to all these things. Is the market growing? Are you making an impact? And is there money involved in the market? When we were doing research for this demographics for this market, if you just put together people older than 65 in America as a separate country, let's say they're a separate country, all the people who are older than 65, they will become the fourth richest country in the world. That's how much money they have. That's why VCs are ready to pour their money. And nowadays, especially in the last 5 years, VCs even want to make impact in the real impact in the life. That's why I start with the problem. Now, apart from this economical and the bigger issues that I told you, I had some personal issues attached to this problem. My mother, she is staying in India and getting old. And she used to be a very social person. I remember during late 90s, she got struck by rheumatoid arthritis. Now, that is not a bigger disease on its own, but it limits her physical mobility. So she, being a social person, now physically limited, the other illnesses start to occur. And now when she visits me in America, her medication bag is bigger than her entire luggage, believe me. So we kind of keep asking why older adults are lonely or socially isolated, because they are losing the connection. And that's why how we can help them to keep connected. Now, we did a lot of data research, data analytics, and we found that, especially in the United States, people older than 65 watches 50 hours of television per week. 50 hours. And if they're lonelier, their television actually turned on even more because they're alone in a big house. They want some noise to be played. So we thought, okay, this could be our portal inside their house. And that gave rise to our mission. So whatever happens, Harbi's mission is to upgrade older adults' television so that they can stay connected, healthy, and happy in a familiar way. And that's why we chose TV, and we chose the remote and all the accessories that come with the television. Now, that was the first takeaway from today's presentation. Start with the why, start with the problem, and all the things start to pile up in your favor. Now, the next one is make your customer your new best friend. And how we did it initially, when we identified this problem, that how we can solve the social isolation in older adults, I started picking any marketing report, sales report, demographic data, the NIA, National Institute on Aging, on Google. In your libraries, you can find so many resources. As much data as possible on the demographics, how the competition is actually doing this. That's what we did for months. Volunteer for related organizations. So I volunteered as an ombudsman. So ombudsman here in United States is a person who go to retirement communities where older peoples are residing, and he listened to their problems. And if he identifies there is an issue or a problem, he can take that issue to the state government. So I volunteered there as ombudsman for 8 months, I think, just to learn actually what's happening. And when I used to visit retirement communities, sometimes they say, okay, what's the problem? Food is not good. That was always the answer. Or they haven't given me a shower in last 7 days, or my remote batteries are not working, or my plants are dying. But deep down, the issue was they don't have anybody to talk to. They create these issues so people can come and talk to them. So we were not supposed to give our telephone numbers or our personal cell numbers. But my agricultural background, agriculture engineering, I used to go there and talk to them about the plants, what soil they should put, when they should water, where the sunlight, and all those things. And they got so happy. They used to call the agency where I was volunteering, like, hey, when your soils guy is going to come? Because they just want to talk. And that's where we actually validated our assumption that they need a connection. That's what they're looking for. Third thing, if you have an idea, don't start developing anything inside a lab or inside your room on a software. Talk to your customer as much as possible. I remember when we created our first version, I start pitching in front of 25 older people. They were like 85, 80, very well-mannered people here, not like gonna say something against you. So while I was pitching that, hey, I know you watch a lot of television, so here's the help. One lady, she must be 88 or close to 90. She stand up and she said, what the hell you are talking about? You think we are just couch potatoes sitting all day and listening to you, just watching TV and we don't have anything else to do? But that's where our messaging was wrong. We should not tell them that, hey, you're not doing anything. Actually, that gave us an idea of event reminders, the outdoor events, and our metrics that we were measuring. So instead of measuring that how many hours of TV they are watching, we start measuring after using Herbie TV, how many times they are going out for the walk, how many times they are joining the book trips, how many times they are inviting their friends. So our metrics changed. When you are so close to your customer, you learn things that you never imagined. And that's where we go so deep that we started calling them with a name. Now, in India, I know we say if you have son, then most of the parents say that, okay, they have somebody who can take care of them in the old age. But no, data says, especially in United States, it's the eldest daughter who takes care of the parents in the need. And that all came from the data. So we called her Mary. We know her age. We know how much income she has, what car she drives, where she lives, and all based on the data analytics. That's how well we know Mary that I remember during the first 8-9 months, my wife asked me, who is Mary? How you know about so much about her? And that is because I have to tell her, no, she's not a girlfriend or anything. It's our customer. But as a CEO, I have to even provide this clarity of customers to my whole team. And I remember even our software developers, not only the marketing or salespeople, they can point out in the crowd of 100 people that, hey, that looks like our Mary, or that looks like our John. So John is Mary's dad. We know how he lives, what his social preferences are, what his problems are. So that's how well we know. We empathize with them. We understand them. And that's how you can beat the competition. You should know them inside out. Now, once we know our why, the problem we are trying to solve, once we understand what the customer needs, and we have two customers here. One is the eldest daughter, Mary, who wants to keep his dad safe and sound, and they're living in separate houses. and our consumer is the dad. So I know in last 10 years, you might have heard a lot about MVP, minimum viable product. So with minimum expenses, quickly you have to bring the product. I wanted to make a change there. Instead of calling it MVP, we should call it MLP. And when I say MLP, means minimum lovable product. So think about this. For us, a lot of us, we use technology every day, every second. We are surrounded by technology. We know technology comes with bugs. We saw even bugs on Google Maps everywhere. And we are like, oh, software has bugs. But think about our granddads. If they buy a bucket or any hard thing like a bucket for 10 rupees, it should be solid. There should not be any crack. If it is, they will return it. That's the mentality of our market. So we reduced our features from 5 to 1, but it has to be lovable product. And I believe that's how you can win the fans for your product. So we try to build MLP rather than MVP. And I remember what we did is we got 50 Marys inside a room. Most of you might know NVIDIA TV box. So we hacked it and we put some features inside it. And we 3D print a Hey Herbie box, the plastic box. And we hide that NVIDIA box inside the 3D box. And we showed Mary's like, okay, this is the features. These are the features you can have. Which one you like, which one you don't. One of them was like, your parents can also order groceries. And I'm talking about 2018, before COVID. It was not that common, especially for older adults. And what we did is our CTO's wife was just standing outside listening to us. And we said that, okay, you ordered sweet potatoes, something. And after 5 minutes, she came in and said, hey, who ordered sweet potatoes? And even after 3 years, all the Marys and who were in the crowd or Johns, they remember, hey, I remember the sweet potato thing. So we kind of built those things with Marys, what they like, what they don't. And then we bought TV boxes from China, about 50 of them, and we installed in a retirement community to get feedback from older adults. But during that time, COVID hit. It's 2020 February. And we kind of got our access reduced to retirement communities. But one great thing happened. We thought like, okay, this is the best time when Herbie is required. And everybody, especially older adults, they need it. So let's launch. We have some inventory now. We bought the boxes, TV boxes from China. Our software is ready. Our apps are ready. Let's launch. Oh, believe me, that was the worst time for Herbie, the May of 2020. So there were approximately 200 people on Zoom, and we did a Zoom launch for Herbie, and we got Zoom bombed. I don't know if you remember, it was a very common thing initially during the COVID time. They insert some bad videos. And I specifically remember I was giving the presentation, and as soon as I said, okay, this is about us, let's go to our CTO for demo. And we got Zoom bombed. That was scary on its own, but we got it controlled, everything was good. Within first 2 weeks, we sold 90% of our inventory. We were so happy. But wait, within next 2 weeks, after 2 weeks, so within a month, we got 95% of Herbie boxes returned. And we were shattered. We were like, okay, our investors were like, nothing gonna happen. You guys haven't picked the right solution. That's why it's not accepted. But we went back because we know our customers so well that what happened, where we messed up. Two things. We rushed to launch. So we got those remotes from China And I remember these remotes that you can even see in the picture. They have small buttons. And I specifically remember one time an older adult called from a retirement home and he said, hey, I'm pressing the button for channel change and it's increasing the volume. And we spent like 2-3 hours looking into our code, what's happening. And then one of our developers, he went there. He saw, okay, sir, can you press and let's see what's happening. His nails were too long. And when he was pressing the button for channel change, actually his nail was pressing the volume up button. And you're like, oh my God. And they were having so many hard time with this remote. Plus there was no auto switch between their cable TV and our hub TV. So they have to manually go to the TV and push a button for HDMI switch. And the biggest of the issue was we thought that, login is an easy thing where you provide your password and username and you're logged in. No, we were wrong. Not for older adults who are 75 or 80. It's hard for them to put their credentials using the remote on television. Even it's hard for us to put your email and the password, and we just belly flopped. Our whole launch was shattered. We were broken. But we get together how we can improve this version, because we had a great mission, the why, for our company, for our product, and we know the customer very well. We went back and we pivot. We pivot in 3 ways. And that's where the next thing is. We not only pivot on the product side, we also pivot on business strategy. We saw that older adults need help to install the boxes. So instead of selling it directly to the home, let's go to the retirement homes, because in retirement homes, we have different people who are helping them. So we get a help there. And within next 2 years, as our product is getting mature enough, then we will launch, that is phase 2, for the homes. And that's where the market potential is. And that's why investors should invest in us. So we pivot our business model. Next, we pivot the problem of password login. So now, when we send the box, it's already set up for the older adult's name and his credentials. They don't have to input the username or password. So if a John asks buys a box on our website, it goes as John. He just plugs it in and it's ready to go with their family member attached to it, with their families attached to it, and the family member from their phone app can make all the changes. So we resolve 2 problems. One, if there are small hiccups, retirement homes have people who can help. The password, there is no need for password. And the third one, we got the remote with only 6 buttons that I showed you in the first slide. With inbuilt microphone, with inbuilt speakers, and with a button, it can shift between cable and our TV. Now, this actually brought some more work for us, because now we are not selling directly to Mary or John. We are selling to business. We are selling to retirement home. So some of the research has to be done again, because we cannot just sell to any retirement home. Specifically, remember before Christmas last year, we interviewed 7 CEOs of different retirement communities. And we saw their feedback about our product. It was all over the spectrum. There were few CEOs who said, oh, this is too much technology for our older adults. They just use the phone. They don't want to do it. They don't even have money to do it. And then there are people on the other side of the spectrum who are like, why are you charging only $10? I can pay you $20. Can you bring it now? And then there were some CEOs who were in the center, like lukewarm. So we started following those CEOs who said, Then why are you not even charging 20? Then can you give it to us? What's differentiate? So we create the persona or profile of retirement communities. They're high amenity. Their average rent was more than $6,000. They were not non-profit or mission driven. So we create the profile of this retirement community, and now we don't have to sell. If we just look for those communities in US, they actually want to buy our products. Similarly, we are selling to a community now. That means I remember a lot of times when we go and pitch to the retirement communities, the staff who's working there, they're always worried about technical products. Because, for example, John, who is living in room 250, the staff says, if your button doesn't work, he gonna call me all day that, hey, come and fix the remote, come and do this. So they don't want to use the staff members. They don't want to bring new technology inside the community. And that's where our plug and play, that it comes with inbuilt username and password. You don't have to do anything. Just plug it and play. And the family members can administer, so staff members doesn't have to worry about it. Then we have to talk in the language of retirement homes. Their biggest worry is to get more older adults, so increase occupancy. Because now with COVID especially, everybody is not allowed inside the retirement community. Harvey can be that window for older adults and their family members. So retirement communities wants to install us. And finally, for older adults, I know if my dad can talk to my son on his phone, he's the happiest person. My grandpa means any grandpa who can talk to a grandkid on a TV, he's the happiest person. So it's an intergenerational device that is connecting the generations. Now, as we are talking about the three things, like why know your customer better than your best friend, and finally pivot, make a product market fit. But all of this is not going to happen if you're not measuring. You need to collect the relevant data on your devices, on your product, on your venture, on your whatever idea you have. You have to start collecting the metrics. For us, loneliness is the biggest thing. So when we ran the pilot last winter, that was our number one thing. Is our device making them less lonelier? So we use an index from University of California. The second thing was usability. So we measure customer effort, customer satisfaction, net promoter scores. You have to measure the relevant things. And I feel proud to tell you that after version 2, in version 3, all our customer effort score, satisfaction score, and promoter score went up. And the minimum was 8 out of 10. It is a huge progress for us within 3 versions. Now, one, especially the new entrepreneurs, and I did that during my initial years, is that, hey, can we not talk about the competition? Or how can I talk about the competition? Because investors will say, oh, somebody is already doing it. Why you are doing it? It's the other way around. The more you talk about your competition, the better prepared you are. Bring it on. And for us, the giants like Alexa and Portal, it's like elephant in the room, right? We have to talk about it. Our biggest, and you have to then tell your value proposition. So our value propositions was like Alexa. They're targeting even my 5-year-old son, right? Whereas all of our features and product is targeted for older adults. But there are some other, there are 2 of other competitors. We have one from Israel and another company from US, Juniper and Independent. But if you go to their website, it feels like they're selling a medical device, not a fun thing. And I don't know if this device is still available in India or not. It's an alert device that you put around your neck. It's an amazing innovation. Simple, right? You just click a button in case of emergency, and it gets you an ambulance or a fire truck, or means whatever is required. Is the help comes to you. Amazing innovation, especially for older adults, but it has only 5% market penetration. Why? Because nobody want to put a thing around his neck that shouts out loud that you are weak. Do you want to keep a thing that says, hey, that guy is weak, he needs help? No. And that's what Juniper and Independa is not getting. But Herbie, every time you turn on Herbie on your TV, you get a one-liner from 1950s and 60s that are funny, that are edgy. So when older adults are using Herbie, they feel hip among their peers. So one of the one-liners is like, save water, shower with friends. And every time when we have hundreds of those one-liners that pop up, that makes them feel like they're doing something happening. And that's the edginess in Herbie we want to bring and differentiate. And we could do that only because we dive deeper into our competition. We talked about this. We learned from them what they are doing wrong. That's the easiest and cheapest way to make your product better. Learn from the competition. Now, finally, when you get good results, you should preserve those stories. You need to be a good storyteller to raise money, to get more customers, to get better employees. Because think about this, we are competing with Apple to get a good hardware employee. We are competing with Microsoft. We are competing with Amazon. Why they should join us and not go and work for big companies? We have to bring these heartfelt stories. So I have one of our earliest adopters, Gordon. He's 94 now, 94 years old. And he used to be a CEO in his professional life. He used to be a hunter. So in US, hunting is legal during certain seasons. So he has a hunting shack. They call these hunting houses. They built it deep in the forests, where you take your gun, you live there for a couple of days, and you hunt deer. So he was an outdoorsy guy, haven't been to his hunting house or hunting shack for almost 20 years. He's 94 now. One day we receive an email from the retirement community that Gordon is super excited and wants to talk to you. So I called him. And he was so excited. You can hear the excitement in his voice. He was like, you know what? My son called me today morning on big Herbie TV. And he said, Dad, do you know where I am? And I know he was at the hunting shack. And it felt so real. Gordon told me it felt so real that I have to talk low. Otherwise, I could scare the deers away. It felt so good that a 94-year-old person was behaving like a kid. And these are the things which makes your work worthwhile. And I can't emphasize, I know we have only 40 minutes and we're close to time. Again, these three things that I want, whatever your idea is, try to bring a mission to it. So you won't divert as the problems come, as the issues come. You focus on your mission, know your customer. And finally, if needed, adjust according to product or a market. Thanks a lot. Hopefully it was, I was able to excite you for entrepreneurship or startup journeys. Prateek or Vishal, we can have questions.
I request all the participants, if you have any questions, please come forward.
Any question, anyone?
Or I can. Was I audible?
Yeah.
Presentation or?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. crisp, clear.
Right.
So Ashish, I have one question.
Sure.
We have a student startup innovation policy here, and we actually encourage our student to come up with some ideas, and if you have any startup idea, you can come and we can actually support those students with the financial aspects or mentorship. So, the government of India is basically actually having one of the most favorable time if we talk about innovation and startups right now.
Yeah.
But we don't see that much participation from students, and probably one of the reason could be the academic balance between academics and startup activities. But sometimes students do come with the ideas, and when we actually look into the ideas, some of the ideas are great, but sometimes some of the ideas are like copycat ideas, like they really have hard time in going for why, like how should they look for a problem, how should they find a problem to address, and then how should they come up or develop that raw problem into a startup idea. So this is my
Great.
question, like
yeah, that's a tough question. Great question, because no, that's a tough one. That's, if you can find whys, I can find multiple billion-dollar companies, right? It's all about finding that why, that what you are trying to solve. But before even we go there, I'm just reading a book recently, and the author there has done a lot of data analytics on entrepreneurs in last 20-30 years. One thing he found out, the successful entrepreneurs, there is a significant difference statistically. Those who have done a startup before or done something like startup, they are the ones who are finding the billion-dollar companies. What I'm trying to say here is, do something. Even if they are copycat, doesn't matter. Even if it is something, go with it. Just start, because the idea that you're going to start with is 99.99% is going to change to something else within next 3 months, if you keep these steps right. So Vishal, to answer the question, look for the problem. You're right. If you find that problem, don't worry about the copycat. Don't worry about if somebody else is doing it. There is always going to be an Uber, then Lyft, and then Ola, because they adjust. It's not only the idea, how the Indian culture gonna perceive that idea. It will change. How it will happen in America, that will change. But just start, do something, start your research, start developing something, and go on that journey. Look for the why, the problem you're so the way we do it, we call it 3 to 5 whys. The trick is 3 to 5 whys. So if you're seeing something like an older adult, we saw, actually our problem started with unaffordability of long-term care. That's how they asked us, like, oh, it's so costly to live in retirement homes. But the trick is, okay, ask why it is tough. Then you get, oh, because the Medicare is paying and this. Okay, why the Medicare is paying so much? Because there are so many patients and this, the work pressure. Then ask another why that's happening. So we asked that why like 5-6 times. And ultimately we reach out to the core problem. That was like, because they are disconnected. And that's what's happening. So start something. And you're right, Vishal. If they are coming up with copycat idea, tell them go deeper into this. Start. There are no fresh ideas. It's nobody comes up with a fresh idea. Like I woke up and I come up with Google. No, it takes years. I forget to talk about that. I had an image of iceberg somewhere, because what you see under the water is huge. Over the water is a little bit. Nobody comes up with an idea in a day. It takes time. So I think you guys are doing great, and you're right. Just support them. Start your journey.
Right. So there is a lot of incubation period that people are, sometimes not aware of, and they think it should come immediately, right? So I think Meghna might have one question, Pratik, right? Pratik, can you read
Yes,
the
sir.
question?
Yes, sir. So from Meghna, she has a question that did you get demotivated or demoralized, or something happened that made you thought you should drop this innovation, like it is not working out? At that time, how you motivated yourself and your team?
Uh, Great question, Meghna. In last 3 years or in last 8 years, there has never been a single month where we think like, okay, we have to close down this. We don't have money to pay, or there's, yeah, every month or sometimes multiple times in a month, and just between us, just between us. Right now we are in the same time because of COVID. So I don't know if you guys know, the chips are getting very costly. So we are competing with Tesla cars to buy those chips, semiconductors, because they are nowhere. And we are struggling to buy those semiconductors to build the hardware. Yes, Meghna. So how we keep motivated? Why? Keep your focus on your mission. Like, hey, I'm doing it for the good of, like in my case, it was not only older adults, my mother. I don't know if money gives you that motivation, good for you, but whatever your that why is, bring it that in. And sometimes you don't have any other choice. Nobody is hiring you, so you keep doing this. I don't know, but yes, great question, Meghna. You get demotivated a lot, so be ready for it.
So we have another question. It's, sir, how do you solve the problem of getting the best available technology in your product with the limited resource, especially if you aren't from the technical background?
Ashish, in line with the same question, sometimes we also face another challenge. Students are from different background. They are actually from different schools. Some are from engineering, some are from science, some are from management, physiotherapy, nursing. So it is a general perception that if you are an engineer, then probably you can think about a startup idea. Or if you are a science graduate, then you can think about a startup idea. But if you are from any other domain, then probably you might not be a good fit for startup. So this is a general perception among students. What do you want to say our students about this general perception, and how should they break this perception?
I'm a soil scientist. I had a startup in artificial intelligence, machine learning. Now I'm in age technology. Sometimes I afraid to tell that I'm a soil scientist. They will be like, "How you're doing this then?" No, but very valid question. Couple of things. Again, the same book. I forget the author. Maybe I'll send you that book. Most of the startups that are found, the billion-dollar startups, and I'm talking about the big ones. We are like small ones, the big ones. None of them, or most of them, have not came from the same field. The founders, they are from a different area, and they are doing this. But technology and like, you have to be, lack of resources is what makes you innovative. And that's why I'm saying, just start something, start with it. We didn't build our first prototype. No, we just hacked another product, and we took a 3D box, print a 3D TV box and put it inside and show it. Like, we didn't even code anything. Like I said, our CTO's wife was standing outside because she can hear us. And we said, oh, you can order your features or order your groceries. And she just came out back after 5 minutes. Hey, somebody ordered sweet potato. So be creative, be innovative. But the last thing is network. Find a co-founding team. It's a hard journey. You need co-founders, and co-founders are like a marriage. So don't just look for them online and, hey, let's meet and let's start. No, you should know them. You should have same frequency. So if you are from management side, look for some tech person. If you can make that co-founding team, that's going to be amazing. So look for co-founders. Other than that, I don't know. It's just in last 5-7 years, things have become easier because there are a lot of platforms where you can build and do things. But just start. I think the biggest thing is we have an idea and we sit on it for long. And after 2 years says, when some company becomes big and you say to your friends, you know what, 3 years ago, I came up with this idea. I came up with TikTok idea or something, and see what happened. Just start and let's see where it goes. I hope I was answering something relevant.
Right.
I think we are. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Vishal?
Yes. You are
I can't hear any of you.
Hello, Ashish. Hello.
There you go. Now I can hear you. I was not able to hear you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are audible. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't have to repeat anything.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Now,
Ariom has a question, I think. Pratik,
Yes,
I think he was
one
raising.
question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Hello, good morning, sir. So I have one
Good
question
morning.
that sometimes, when we talk to the customer, so they feel like we are doing just for the sake of marketing for our profit. So how do you manage with that? That this is for them, and how do you like impress them that it is just not for the marketing purpose, or it's just for your profit?
Great question. So my prompt reply is like, you haven't asked enough whys. If you remember what I was saying, you have to ask 3 or 4 whys. So why I am wearing a t-shirt? Because I want to feel comfortable. Why you want to feel comfortable? I ask another one. Because I want to sit here for 1 hour, talk to you. Why you want to do that? Because I want this seminar to be better, so you get something out of it. Why you want to do that? Because I want somebody to succeed. You know, if you ask those enough times, you will find actually what your customer is looking for. If you haven't drilled down to that level, you're right. Your customer gonna see through you that you are asking only for money. So my means, I'm not saying you're doing it in your, most of the times in our mind, we have a good thing, but there is a communication problem. That means we are not able to tell the customer why we are doing this. So maybe in your mind, you think that you are doing something good, but it came out as you are just looking for money. So do practice. I practice means I was not able to practice this much for this presentations. The longer the talk, the less you have to practice. But I gave pitches for 1 minute. Like, when you talk to your customer, he feels like you are helping him instead of trying to get money out of it. So it's all about, that's why I kept saying, do it. And the practice makes you perfect. Because even in our case, initially older people's daughter, they were thinking you are just behind their money. But when we talk about real problems, like, hey, if your dad is lonely, he has similar health impacts as smoking 15 cigarettes. That's huge. So you practice and go deeper. I hope that might help, and you won't come out as looking for money, because on the top is money. Does that help? Was I audible, Vishal?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, okay, great, okay.
So I guess we are done with the question answer session. So now I call upon.
No, I think one more question. I think Bilal has one question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So he wants you to share your experience with the VCS and how tough was it to raise funds?
I know a lot of girls are there on the call. We call this the F problem in startup industry. It's funding problem. It's the hardest thing. I remember there has been, I have raised money in India too in 2016. And India is even, oh my God, their VCs, it's even hard. If you think America is harder. If you have done your, again, start and do your preparations. Lot of VCs are not going to get you that what you are doing makes sense, but you need only one VC. And there is a rule, simple rule. If you are raising like here $500,000, $1 million, if you're raising $500,000, you have to meet with 100 VCs. 100. You have to pitch in front of 100 VCs. And then you might get one to say to the next meeting. And it takes 10 meetings at least to get the check. It's not like you're going to pitch and they'll be like, hey, have you ever given 100 rupees to somebody for something? It's hard. Getting money is hard. I have been insulted by VCs. I have become so hard, thick-skinned now. Doesn't matter because they didn't get your idea. Doesn't matter. And think about this. Airbnb. It took them 5 years to raise their first round. Nobody understood them. Everybody was like, you can't do it. What the hell? Who gonna sleep in others' house? Below the water, you only see the success. But yes, VCs are tough. Do your homework. Know your why. Know your competition. Know your value proposition. Know your customer. If you talk like I talk about Mary and John, you talk about your customer in that way, I bet your investor will be like, man, this guy can do something for this customer. So preparation. And don't mind if somebody says no. You're gonna hear no every day, every hour. Just keep doing, keep going.
Yes, sir. With that, I guess we have completed all the questions. If anyone is willing to question, can question it.
Or connect with me on LinkedIn, Ashish Mudgal. And I'm happy to connect. If I can help in any ways, please let me know. Obviously, it's all about networking. Startup is all about networking. Make connections, meet people. Let me know if I can help. I can connect to you somebody. Just let me know. I don't have much connections in India, but I do have a lot in America. So yeah, please connect. Let me know if I can help in any ways.
Yes, sir. So with that, I call upon Vishal sir for the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Ashish. I know it was quite late at your side when you started, and we really appreciate it because I know because of the time difference, we could not find the best time for both of that could suit both of us. But thank you for agreeing, and it was really very inspiring talk, and I really appreciate you are very courageous person, I would say, because it takes a lot of courage for someone to leave a good job like you were in Monsanto, and that is our institution is basically trying to encourage students to go beyond the job seeker. Sometimes you can be a job provider as well, and this is how Indian education system dynamics are changing these days, and we are into that too. So for that, we need really that kind of inspiration, and your journey of ARB was really very inspiring. So thank you very much, Ashish, and we may invite you one more time if we have something, that kind of thing. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah. I totally enjoyed it. And yeah, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to network or answer your questions. Thanks a lot, Vishal. Nice seeing you.
Thank you. Thank you. Same here, Ashish.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. With this, we conclude